We're all back to campus as of June 1st. We returned all staff to campus. We've been running on-campus programming since last summer. We actually brought our health professions back last June 1st, over a year ago. We followed that with the skilled trades in that following August. And we've roughly up until now been about 80-20. And then the plan for fall is to be about 45-55, which is actually much better than I would have anticipated. We're still planning on maintaining that, but obviously if we have to pivot to a more online presence, but we want to try to keep our skilled trades, our health professions in good order, and also we do have a population that's not served well by online education. They're challenged by the technology, they don't have access to Wi-Fi, they need the support that comes with being on campus and services and everything else. We have lost a few. We've had enrollment declines now. This will be our second year after recovering that just before COVID. And we're very anxious to provide every means that we can for students who really want to go to school, whether they want to be online or they want to be on campus. I think there's a real question in many students' minds about, is college for them? And I think we have to do a good job of explaining the continuing benefits of going to college, as well as the significant financial resources that are available to assist students right now to go to school, whether it's non-credit, for credit. There's a lot of government programming through the Workforce Investment Board. There's 22 streams of funding right now for students if they want to go to school. And we are trying to do our best to match students up with those resources so that at least financially it's not an issue whether they can go to school or not. Our counties have been nothing but supportive of us. They've maintained effort. They've also had a lot of support from the federal government that's benefited them as well, I believe, which has helped us out, of course. We've also had our own stimulus programs that have been applied to colleges and universities, of which we've very much benefited. We've received over $7.5 million since the various CARES and HERF acts, all these different abbreviations, but they're basically the stimulus funding that came through for public entities, for counties and states, and for obviously higher education. So that money, about half of it's earmarked directly to students through grants. Students simply have to tell us that they've been impacted by COVID, and we try to get them to tell us that, and then they actually get a direct grant, and they can use that money for anything. They can pay tuition fees, they can provide for their needs at home with food and transportation, medical care, child care, which is a huge issue. On top of that, the state actually allocated additional funding for the colleges late in the legislative session, which allowed us to really take care of some issues with compensation for our employees. We haven't had really significant pay raises in years, and we've been getting behind, and we're having trouble hiring because of our non-competitive salaries. So that's all been very good, and I cannot complain about our state and even federal and local funding. So financially, the college is in great shape. We're very appreciative of the support we have from our counties. We had to submit revised budgets because of the state allocation that we got, and we just recently all got unanimous approval of those budget items with our counties, which is one of the reasons I wanted to wait to interview with you, because we wanted to have that under our belts, because that's really great news for the college. We're really solid for this next year. It provides us the means to keep our enterprise going, some investment in our infrastructure. We just don't know what's going on right now. There's just this big cloud over the last year and a half about what students are doing, where are they coming from, where are they going if they're not going to school. The best theory is that many of them are just sitting in their basements, and they're not working, or they haven't been working until recently, and they certainly weren't going to college. Everybody's trying to come to grips with why. Because generally, when the economies fail, everybody goes back to school. But in this case, the COVID itself has caused so much anxiety that students are just not willing to just make that leap to go back to school. So it's a very complex picture. Nobody's quite sure what's going on. We had this meeting with the college presidents last week, in which we had an analyst come in, and we were hoping he would tell us what the hell was going on. And in the end, he was asking us what the hell was going on. And we basically said, you know, Air Force salute, we don't know. We're just kind of waiting to see how this thing works out. And we really just have to be there for our students, make sure they understand what's available, provide the financial means to go, and be ready to help them make that leap to come back. And some of our students have done very well. We had 100% passage rate on our NCLEX exam for our nurses this year. That's a first for the college. We graduated 26 nurses, the most diverse class that we've seen in quite some time. So You would think the one thing that would impact an academic program would be nursing, and we probably had our strongest performance by our faculty and students this past year. So a testament to faculty and student grit and the ability to work through these challenging environments, and of course dedication to go into a field that is in high demand. Certainly our skilled trades and our continuing education program, which provides, we have thousands of students taking advantage of those programs. And that's everything from a 2-year associate's degree in welding to a 1-year certificate in EMT, or a several-week course to become a CNA. And we just literally had to shut those programs down for about 6 months, and it really punched a hole in revenues. It punched a hole in the supply line of some of these vital technical skills into the local community. And that probably was the most detrimental impact of the COVID, because so much of that stuff you can't do online. You can't teach a welder how to weld online. You can't teach CDL truck driving online. But we've recovered. We got folks back as soon as possible last summer, a year ago, and we kept control of COVID. We kept classes going. We had a couple of positives here and there, but it did not disrupt instruction in any major way. And we got really back on track, although we had fewer numbers because we had to have fewer people in an instructional space to keep people distanced. So that's just an ongoing thing, and we've, with some grants and some additional funding, we've been able to buy more trucks, so we've been able to improve the ability to offer more CDL truck driving classes because we have more trucks to do it in. And we did get some significant resources from the state in particular to invest in that workforce education stuff. So that's, again, been the positive side of what was a pretty difficult time for us. You know, it's like that in every field. I couldn't imagine running a hospital right now. I couldn't imagine being the superintendent of a school district right now. But fortunately, in our situation here on the Eastern Shore, we have some great people running these shows. You know, for all the enrollment challenges we have over 1,500 students currently just about registered for fall. We're probably going to register quite a few more before we get done for classes. So we have thousands of students that will be coming to Chesapeake College this year, as they always have since 1965, to start out whatever's next in their lives. And you can't help but be optimistic when you see that. And